Hello everyone, this is Dr. Preston Robinson, naturopathic doctor, and I'm doing this video today because many people have asked me about the thyroid hormone, the thyroid gland, and how it works and how they might know if it's deficient and what to do about it if it is indeed deficient. And so this video is an informative video, and for my own legal protection, I must let you know that I am not a medical doctor. I am a naturopathic doctor, and any information given in this video is for educational purposes only. And if you do feel that you have some health concern, you should see a qualified healthcare practitioner. Okay, the thyroid, what does it do? What is it? It's a gland in the neck. It has two lobes, right and left. And there also is a parathyroid gland. Generally, right behind the thyroid gland, there are four types of parathyroid glands, and we'll deal with these together today. And the thyroid gland is a gland that is a governor or a regulator of the metabolism. So it kind of controls how quickly the body uses energy, makes proteins, and it's also a temperature regulator for the body. It also it controls how sensitive the body is to other hormones. So that's what the thyroid gland does in the body. And so how can we know whether or not this gland is giving us a problem? I think I should also mention that the parathyroid gland, along with the thyroid gland, control calcium in the body, its use and its quantity in the blood and in the bones. The symptoms of deficiency, I'm going to read to you just a list. This is a list that I use in my consulting practice. So if someone were to come to me, I would ask them these questions, and this would give me an idea whether or not they suffer from symptoms of thyroid. It's quite a long list, so if you want to stop the video at any point or rewind it and write these down, you can go through this list and see how many of these relate to you. If you have cold hands and feet, this could be related to a thyroid issue. If you're putting on weight, it's easy to put on weight but hard to lose it. That could be the thyroid. Weak nails, varicose veins, these are all structural deficiencies of the body. So weak nails, varicose veins, hemorrhoids, or prolapses of any organs or veins. So prolapse of the colon, prolapse of the uterus, even heart valve, mitral valve prolapse can be thyroid and parathyroid related. Cramps can be thyroid related, parathyroid related. Weak bladder. Again, these are structural weaknesses or problems with calcium. Irregular heartbeat can be a thyroid issue. Headaches and migraines can be a thyroid issue. Hernias, aneurysms, again, structural problems, thyroid issues. Any problems with osteoporosis, scoliosis, any calcium issues, so low calcium levels can be a thyroid issue. Low energy can be a thyroid issue, or being irritable easily. Signs of depression, these are all indications there could be a thyroid issue. Low bone density, as I mentioned. A common sign for a thyroid issue is when you have a goiter, a swelling in the neck around the thyroid gland. This is a sure sign of a thyroid problem. That's a sure sign. Other issues having to do with structure and bones would be herniated or bulging discs, spine deterioration, bone spurs. These all could be highly likely it's a thyroid and parathyroid issue. Same with bruising easily. If you have a rapid pulse, this could be a thyroid issue. If you're sweating too little or sweating too much, this could be a thyroid issue as well. Thinning hair, dry skin, mid-afternoon fatigue, thyroid issue. If you're cold when others are not, remember the thyroid is your temperature gland. If everyone around you seems to be fine and you're one of those people who say, I'm always cold, this could be a thyroid issue. And believe it or not, if you struggle to understand what you're reading, or if you get confused easily, these are oftentimes thyroid issues. For our females, if your periods are very light, this could be related to a thyroid issue as well. there are several physical markers that we can look at, and when you get used to dealing with people with thyroid deficiency, they become very clear. You can see them right off. Are the thinning of the eyebrow on the outer edge here. Many people, they just start to disappear. And also you can oftentimes get two horizontal lines across the neck. Now these progress as the deficiency in the thyroid progresses. These become more noticeable. Another sign that there is thyroid issue that becomes quite severe is a stooping of the shoulders. The shoulders begin to round over, and when the shoulders round over, then the palms of the hands, normally, in most of us, if we place the palms of our hand, or if we place our arms down to our sides, the palm of our hands will rest up against the side of our body. In severe thyroid deficiency, the shoulders begin to round and the palms of the hands begin to turn toward the back. They turn back away from the body, and this is a sign, a sure sign of some severe thyroid deficiency. When we see these sorts of markers on a person, we immediately go looking for a thyroid problem. Okay, there's a temperature test you can do at home. If you're looking now and you're going, wow, some of these things sound like me, what can I do, or how do I know for sure? There's many things that we look at the preponderance of evidence. So another thing that you can do is you look at all the symptoms and see if how many of those relate to you. And then another test we can do is a temperature test. What you want to do is take a oral thermometer and have it ready, place it on the nightstand next to the bed, so that in the morning, before you get up and move around, you want very little movement. It's first thing you do in the morning, as soon as you wake up, is reach over, get the thermometer, place it in your mouth, and take your oral temperature. What you're looking for is a temperature, your temperature, if it's below 97.6, then this is a sure sign of a hypo or low thyroid. The temperature, very low temperatures, are classic thyroid symptoms. That's basically the symptoms, the signs that one could be having a thyroid issue. So now let's take a look at how the biochemical process that the body uses, how the thyroid works, so that we can then go into what to do to repair it. Okay. So what happens is the thyroid makes thyroid hormone, basically with tyrosine, which is an amino acid, which most of us are probably getting plenty of, and iodine. Now it's the iodine that many of us don't get enough of, or we're not absorbing or using properly. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that we are getting enough iodine, and I do not like isolates, I do not like synthetics, so I like food forms, I like things the way God designed it. So therefore I would recommend seaweeds like kelp. Kelp is the best form of iodine, and you can get them in capsules. You can get kelp capsules, or you can eat kelp, and this would be a good way. There is also a supplement called Lugol's iodine that you could take. Lugol's iodine comes in a liquid, and you can apply it externally to the skin, and the body will take up as much as it needs. Or you can also take it internally, but this should be taken maybe 1 or 2 drops a day. Any more than that, you should take with the care of a qualified health practitioner who is familiar with using Lugol's iodine. So that is an option. It is not a food-based option, but it is another option for taking in iodine. Now, the iodine is used by the thyroid to create several hormones. We're just going to use the designators T4 and T3. These are the common designators for these hormones. And there's also a hormone called calcitonin, and that's the hormone that controls the calcium part that we were talking about. So T4 is basically what we call a prohormone, or a hormone precursor. It's not extremely active. T3 is the part that is very active. It's a very active, very strong hormone in relation to T4. T4 is basically used to create T3, and it is also in the blood, but it's the T3 that we're really interested in, because the thyroid hormone receptors of the body really only accept T3. So one of the things that the body needs, because the thyroid really only makes about 20%, or converts only about 20% of T4 to T3. The rest of the T4, or excuse me, the rest of the T4 is converted by the spleen, the liver, and the kidneys. And so one of the things that we have to make sure of is that our spleen and our kidneys are strong, and our liver as well. And those are areas that we can talk about in another video, but they are very important areas. And so if you need any help taking care of those things, look for videos in the future, or feel free to contact my office at Rose of Sharon Holistic. I'll give you the information to contact us later on. So the liver, the kidney, and the spleen are important for the conversion of the T4 to T3. Now, the receptors in the body that accept the T3 can be blocked by three main chemicals, and these are compounds, and these are fluoride, chlorine, and bromide. Now, fluoride, many of us get either in our drinking water or in our toothpaste, and chlorine also in the drinking water. And if you're a swimmer, then you probably get an awful lot of chlorine exposure. So for our swimmers, I would recommend that you make sure that you take some iodine before swimming, and also that you shower real well before and after to remove excess chlorine. If you have other options, non-chlorinated pools, other options, you might take that into consideration, or avoid swimming in chlorinated water if you're having a thyroid problem. Bromide is another one. We've talked about fluoride, chlorine. Bromide is another iodine receptor blocker, and bromide is found in sedative medications. Many of the sedative medications are made with bromide, and also is used in hot tubs as a germicide. So if you're having any issues with the thyroid, you want to avoid these blockers. Another thing that you want to avoid if you're having thyroid issues is sugar and caffeine, as sugar and caffeine tend to kick T3 out of the thyroid prematurely. This is one of the reasons why blood tests are notoriously incorrect. That reason, as well as the fact that thyroid has two lobes, both right and left, and one can be hyperactive and the other can be hypo or low active, and they cancel each other out, and in the blood it looks like everything's fine when actually both lobes are in distress. So again, those blood tests can be notoriously wrong. So if you're depending on a blood test to tell you whether or not you're having thyroid issues, I personally would not do that, depend on that alone. If the blood test shows a thyroid issue, I would say that is probably correct. But there's oftentimes where it'll show normal when there is really a thyroid issue. So that's kind of the way the thyroid works, or the biochemical processes that the thyroid uses. So what can we do to correct it? Now, we talked about taking iodine, so we need to take iodine in the form of kelp, especially, or as Lugel's iodine supplement. We need to avoid the iodine blockers, chlorine, fluoride, and bromide. And we need to take another supplement, or actually, again, the food source is better, of selenium. Now, selenium is what is used by these organs to convert the T4 to an active T3. Selenium is very necessary. And so selenium, the food form, is the one that comes to mind right now are Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are high in selenium, and it doesn't take too many Brazil nuts a day. 2 or 3 would be plenty to get a good source of selenium. Selenium, let's see what else. Again, we talk about avoiding caffeine and sugar so the hormone doesn't get kicked out prematurely. And one of the things that we can do, and I usually do with people who are needing help and have a very deficient thyroid, is put them on or give them a thyroid glandular. A thyroid glandular should not be taken for long term, but can be taken 1, 2, 3, or several months depending on the deficiency of the thyroid. Now, when taking the thyroid glandular, these are very good for regenerating and strengthening the thyroid, and so I would suggest that you would take it for a month, and then you begin to monitor even throughout that month, but especially after that month, to monitor your temperature and see how it is progressing. As your temperature becomes more correct, then you can begin to come off of the thyroid glandular. Of course, if you are taking any sort of thyroid hormone, Synthroid, or any other thyroid hormone, synthetic or otherwise, and you begin to take a thyroid glandular, you're going to really want to monitor yourself or be monitored by a healthcare practitioner, because the thyroid will may start coming back and regenerating, and you don't want to be taking additional hormone on top of that and having your levels way out of whack. The taking of synthetic or other hormones will often cause the thyroid to shut down. So it's a good thing to work your way off of these synthetic or even so-called natural hormones, because any gland in your body will stop working if you begin to supply its hormones from an outside source. So I personally don't think that that's a good idea. In extreme cases, and you may have to do that to get by, but the bottom line is to get the thyroid working again, or whatever gland you're having an issue with, to get it working again. That having been said, that basically covers the thyroid gland and what to do. There's a couple other things I just want to touch on. They're really for other videos, but I think they'll be important here to just mention, and that is the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is our sewer system that carries away the cellular waste, the toxins, the acids, and this is important because if your thyroid gland is in a state of deficiency, one of the things going on is that it's not getting the nutrition, and the other side of it is that it's not having the toxins and the acids carried away. So we need to take a look at the lymphatic system and make sure that that's working well. The spleen is a part of that, all your lymph nodes, and the kidneys, which is your filtration system for the lymph system. So these are subjects for other videos, but please keep that in mind, things you want to look at. Again, the kidneys and the spleen are important for the thyroid, not only because they're part of the lymph system, but also because they're converters of T4 to T3. So that basically covers that. One final thing, if after working on the thyroid you seem to get no results, one of the things to keep in mind is that the thyroid is regulated and governed by the pituitary gland, which is found up here in the head, and the pituitary gland sends a hormone to stimulate the thyroid. It's actually called thyroid stimulating hormone, and so that to let the thyroid know when to do what it's supposed to do. So if all else fails and the thyroid doesn't seem to respond, it could actually be that the problem is in the pituitary, and that the pituitary is not stimulating the thyroid to work. Of course, the pituitary gland is for another video. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, you can comment at www.rosholistic.com. That's my website, or on our Facebook page, facebook.com/rosholistic. You can also call our offices if you want any help or consultations at 708-381-0881. Again, the phone number is 708-381-0881. We serve the whole Chicagoland area in consultations, but we also do distance consultations. So if you're not in the Chicagoland area, that's fine. You can give us a call. We do distance consultations over the phone. and again, you can check out our website at www.rosholistic.com, and our Facebook page at facebook.com/rosholistic.com. All right, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the video. Look for more videos to come, and have a great day.